You're listening to the Fours Up Podcast with your host, Marsh.
What up? It is the Fours Up Podcast. It is Wednesday, July 8th. It is your boy, Marsh. As always, I am joined by my wonderful producer and co-host, Jordan Nelson. Jordan, how are we, man? I just chugged a Monster Energy drink just to get me a little loosey-goosey, get me a little hyped up. Hey, how are you?
Doing good, man. I got a cold Mountain Dew here with me. You know, it's the beverage is flowing, and having a good time here. It's been hot the last
talk
days,
about these
man.
energy drinks like they're alcoholic or like it's flowing and things like that, and when really we're talking about soda and Monster Energy drinks. I love it.
You know, we're making do with what we can, right?
Exactly. Damn Utah. But no, things are good. Had a great episode last time with D Money. I'm starting to get back into the swing of things as social media goes. But honestly, and I'm gonna say this later in the episode, I love talking recruiting, but man, I am ready for actual football to start.
Yeah, man. I think we are in the doldrums of the worst part of the news cycle for college football, you know? I mean, the only thing going right now is recruiting rumors, not even actual recruiting.
Oh, exactly, man. I can't handle it anymore. But we are less than a month away from the start of spring ball or fall practice. Hopefully. I was talking to Gabby Arucci yesterday, and we were saying, August 7th, that's still the plan for fall practice. But I don't know, man. I'm getting a little nervous. But I don't know what to think.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm very nervous too, honestly. I'm just trying not to think about it. I've been trying to, I don't know. You can probably tell from my tweets, everyone out there, but I've been trying to keep my mind not solely focused on football right now, because I do not need that kind of letdown if they cancel the season, So I'm trying to get back into the NBA right now. I got a lot of projects going. I'm a big history nerd, so I'm always reading stupid stuff about that. And just trying not to be too fixated on the Canes right now, because if the season gets canceled, man, that'll be bad.
See, that's where you have an advantage over me. Everything that I do is centered around the Canes. Even the book that I'm writing is about the Hurricanes, and so I try to escape, but it just suffocates me.
Yeah.
And so I have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And then once I go down to South Florida in a few weeks, it's going to be even amplified. And I love the Hurricanes with all my heart, but when they're your life 24/7, I'm starting to rewatch Curb Your Enthusiasm, so my inner Larry David is starting to come out once again.
Nice.
And I'm becoming more of an asshole, just like he is. And so, but last week we interviewed D Money, and we said that we were going to do a mini mailbag, but due to some technical difficulties, and before I go on, I just want to say thank you, Jordan, for freaking cutting that up. I know how hard that was. It was an amazing interview. And I've gotten a lot of feedback saying how great the interview was, but we did have a lot of technical difficulties. So thank you for doing that, brother.
Of course, man. I was tempted to leave some of those, the breaks that would happen, and we'd just quote old school and, be the immature and overgrown teenage boys that we still are. I was tempted to leave some of that in, but, I decided better safe than sorry, right?
Hey, you know what? That teenage boy inside me will never, ever leave.
Same, bro.
All these people say, "Oh, we have to grow up and do things like that." And hell no.
Yeah.
What do you know? That's the charm in me, is that I still have that, the humor of a 14-year-old.
Yeah. Nothing grinds my gears worse than when people, they're like, really? You're still making dick jokes? It's dude, I will never stop.
They're hilarious to me. I still laughed even when you said it.
Yep. I hope the very last words that I speak on this earth are just a crude joke that makes people's hair curl, you know.
And I'll be sitting by your bedside, being the only one laughing with you.
Yep, I hope so, man.
Okay, well, we got tons and tons of freaking mailbag questions to get to, so fire them up, Jordan.
Okay, so we're gonna start with we started to answer one from Ethan last week, and we decided that the answer would be a little intricate. So let's start off with it just for the sake of time. So the question is, how different do you guys think Miami would be if it was a public school? Do we have more money for bigger name coaches? I think he's just trying to get at what's the overall impact if we have that public money.
Okay. Well, like I said last week, I mean that's a question that I think that I honestly don't know the good answers to, and so I'm gonna let you get that one first.
Well, yeah, I mean I'm with you there in that, like, any answer that I would give is mostly conjecture, because I don't really understand how that stuff all works perfectly, So I don't know. I mean, I definitely think that you could point to the Randy Shannon era, when funding to the football program was not as big as it is now, and Shannon was he had a very tiny budget for assistant coaches. Our facilities fell behind, stuff like that. I think that era you can point to, and that might have led to kind of the downfall of our dynasty is stuff like that. So I think there's an argument to be made there, that we probably don't fall off for 20 years like we have, if we're a public school and we have more funding. Also, I think admission costs is another issue that we have. Is there's no such thing as in-state tuition for the University of Miami. So I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm no expert when it comes to the education system, but that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Is I feel like we would not have been pinching pennies and hiring the Mark Whipples of the world, to I don't know. Do you understand what I'm getting at here, Mark?
No, totally. I mean, if you look at these bigger schools like the University of Florida, University of Alabama, like they have a lot more boosters, and the University of Miami is a very, very small school. Like, people don't realize that it's a small school, and outside of their football program, like, I don't know how many of our boosters are that concerned with our football program, especially when we're losing. That's another big thing. But it's hard to dive into your boosters when you really don't have that many besides like former NFL players, things like that. And so I just think the amount of resources are not as many at the University of Miami compared to bigger public schools. And also like the admissions thing. I mean, like, who the hell wants to spend $60,000 a year to go to school? I sure as hell don't.
Yeah. I thought long and hard about pursuing sorry. Speaking of dick jokes, I thought long and hard about pursuing architecture at University of Miami, and ultimately, architecture / entrepreneurship. I was looking at both, but dude, ultimately, like, I didn't want to go into debt like that, and to people that do, like, it's everyone, it's to each their own, right? I'm not trying to criticize that choice. But that's not what I wanted in life. That's why I went to Utah State and paid. I mean, I got FAFSA. I was paying like $800 a semester for tuition, man. It's,
yeah.
I mean, I know it's not but $800, that was pretty good.
It does. And so, yeah, I mean, I honestly don't have like that much to say about the question, just because I don't have a lot of knowledge of the situation. So
yeah, I feel you. All right. I like this one. We're going to double dip on Ethan right now just because I wanted to talk about the Mahomes deal. What are your guys' thoughts on the Mahomes deal? Do you believe this is going to have a vast impact on the Chiefs roster as far as not being able to retain key players because of the cap situation?
I mean, yeah, what's he getting paid? Like 530 million?
If 503, yeah.
Holy,
Dude,
oh
with
my.
477 guaranteed. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, how are you gonna, shell out that kind of money and then still expect to retain a guy like Tyreek Hill, who's, top 3, top 5 receivers in the NFL? But the thing is, at least the Chiefs are looking at it like, well, I mean, we'd rather have a guy like Pat Mahomes than a guy like Tyreek Hill, because Pat Mahomes is just going to make your wide receivers better. And so, and I'm not saying that they're not going to retain Tyreek Hill, but I think the Chiefs are looking at it as like, you can bring in any receiver that you want, and Mahomes is still going to throw for 40, 50 touchdowns a year. And so, absolutely, I think there's going to be, a lot of, several players that aren't going to be able to get that kind of money that they think that they deserve. And so I just think that kind of big of a deal is not ridiculous, but it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, so my brother and I were talking about this last night. So let's look at the quarterbacks who've been to the Super Bowl in the last 5 years. The starting quarterbacks, okay? So obviously Wentz was hurt, but we're gonna call it Wentz just because he was the starter for the Eagles. So we got Mahomes, Garoppolo, Brady. We have Wentz. We have Peyton Manning, Cam Newton, and Russell Wilson, and then Matt Ryan. So if you look at that list, Matt Ryan is the only one of those guys that was making top dollar when he made the Super Bowl. All the other guys were on rookie deals or on like the old guy Tom Brady deal where it's $25 million guaranteed straight. And Peyton Manning was on that deal too. Jared Goff made a Super Bowl as well on a rookie deal. And so what I'm getting at here is there's a lot of data to show that like quarterbacks that are making, top dollar, they're getting paid that $35 million a year or whatever, they're not making the Super Bowl. Like Jimmy Garoppolo made it this last year, but he's only making 27. I mean, think about that $8 million gap between Garoppolo and like Kirk Cousins. Like that pays for a Pro Bowl wide receiver.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of ways that you can look at it, but at the end of the day, I think it's pretty obvious that the Chiefs are going to have to make some decisions concerning other players. Like, I mean, Kelsey's getting a little bit older. I think he's 30, but Tyreek Hill, I believe he's like 26.
Yep.
Something like that. Like, and I don't know. Like, you obviously have to realize that the Chiefs thought it out very, thought about it in depth and say, well, if some of these guys, because like, I don't know, the contract situations and the salary cap issues is a very in-depth conversation. But I'm still just blown away by Mahomes' contract.
Yeah, I mean, it is incredible, and Mahomes, I mean, to me, being a 26-year-old, I've never seen a guy with Mahomes' talent ever. Like people will point to like, a young Marino kind of had the same look. And I'm not saying that he's already the greatest ever or whatever. He has like 20 years of success that he'll have to put up. But I'm just saying, like, pure talent. When you watch the guy play, there's nobody like him in the NFL.
No, he's unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, he's just ridiculous, man. So I'm not necessarily criticizing the Chiefs. More so as saying that pretty much all these teams that are paying their quarterbacks 30-something million a year are shooting themselves in the foot and are screwing themselves. I remember when Jared Goff was up for extension, somebody on ESPN wrote an article, saying that there's kind of a movement of some thinkers in the NFL, like front office people, that are saying that, you should just rotate rookie quarterbacks. Like once they get to the end of their rookie deal and are up for a big time extension, you trade them for a high draft pick. And just kind of ride out that wave of talented young guys. And honestly, man, I kind of think that's the best MO. You know, like if you're